welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just gonna be filming a super casual video. I look super casual. We have a lot of light coming from this side, but again, it's just gonna be super casual. I'm just gonna be sitting and knitting a little bit and chatting about some life updates because it's been a while since I've gotten a little personal with you guys. And I thought it would be like a good time, you know? I have my little dog here. He'll probably walk around a little bit. You'll probably hear my air click on at some point, but yeah, I don't know. I was just sitting here and I really wanted to make a video. I have a lot of videos in the make, I will say. I have like 4 or 5 that I'm currently in the process of making. So I have some like edited clips of them, but I'm not done with it because they're like long form videos, which I'm really excited about. Some planty ones, some knitting ones, but yeah. So today I thought I'd just do like a knit and chat with me. I am currently working on my Good Willow pullover, which I do have a cable round coming up, so we'll see how that goes while I'm trying to talk to you guys, but this is what it looks like. Sorry the lighting is like really weird. You know, it's like 5:30 on Labor Day and I'm just trying to hang out. But I realize I haven't updated you guys on like my life in a really long time because, as you know, I'm not like a super personal type of person, but as my videos like change a little bit, I think it's important to keep the people that have been following me and watching me for a while updated. So that's what we're doing, okay? So as you know, I've been getting really into plants lately and I haven't made as many knitting videos as I used to, and that's just simply because I haven't been knitting as much as I used to. Knitting is very much tied to my old life. If you guys have been here for a little bit now, you know that me and my husband, or my ex-husband, have gotten divorced. And we're going on 2 years since the divorce was made official. But March was 3 years since we had separated. And I'm still going on my journey. I've got to be completely honest with you guys. I spent 10 years with this person, and although we didn't have children or we didn't have a home together, we didn't really have anything together other than our relationship, we shared our families and we shared our lives together, and that was a very big transition. Last night I was watching my I bought a house video because I think I want to do like a 3-year update because a lot has changed since the last time I updated you guys on my home. And it made me a little, well, it didn't make me necessarily sad because that was a really great time of my life, but it made me really reflect on my past life whenever I was married. And I have to say, like, healing is an ebb and flow. It is. People say that. It may sound cliche, but I very much believe that knitting is an ebb and flow as well, because sometimes I don't feel like knitting and sometimes I do. But life and healing from trauma is an ebb and flow, and I am going in and out. And I know it's been like 3 years since everything like really hit when the separation happened, but it's been even longer since the incident and the fallout had taken place. And I'm still going through that. And I want to be a little bit more open with you guys because I think that it could help somebody out there, because I know like in the past when I did share a little bit more, a lot of people were like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing. But when Lunar Knits was most successful, I was at my lowest in my life. And I didn't show that to you guys. I just like pushed through and put on a happy face and kept going because it's the only thing I had in my life that was stable. And I mentioned in my last podcast that Lunar Knits was kind of, you know, I was losing followers over on Instagram because I can't commit to making reels and stuff. And that's totally fine with me. Yes, it does hurt a little bit when you lose followers. It's always gonna hurt. But it had never been about like the numbers for me. It was more about the community I was building. And I feel like the people that stick around that watch these videos, they are the ones that I truly want here, the ones that don't leave me whenever I find different hobbies. And when I make weird quality videos like with the sunshine right here because I refuse to get blinds. But I have definitely, although I have healed in a lot of ways, I definitely still feel a lot of anger inside of me. And I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and she made me feel really validated because I said that I still felt really angry for what happened. And she was telling me that she still feels angry for a lot of her past relationships and how they treated her and the things that she had to go through. And that really validated me because I felt like 3 years later I shouldn't still feel anger sometimes. And she was questioning, like, this time of year in the past, what had happened, what was going on during these times. And, you know, during this time in 2018, I was moving home for a month to deal with my mental health because that is where my relationship truly started to decline. And I don't want that, my past relationship, to define who I am, but in a lot of ways it does, because I got married very young. I met my partner very young, and I grew up with him, you know, and I haven't found another partner at this time. You know, I've dated around and I met people that I was interested in, but ghosting is a very big problem, I realize. So, and I'm not, let me just rephrase, where I'm coming from my past relationship, I have understood a lot of things that I don't want to repeat, which is like begging and pleading and asking somebody to stay. So once somebody feels like they're falling off, I can't put that level of commitment in because I don't want to be left where I was again to just be left again, if that makes any sense. So in my marriage, I really wanted to make it work regardless of the situation that was presented, which I kind of want to be more open with you guys. There was an affair, and from that affair, there was a new life created. And I really wanted to work through that and show my support because I never wanted to get married. And then I met this person and I decided to get married. And marriage was something that was so important to me because I came from a broken home and a difficult childhood. And so when I decided to get married, I decided I was going to put everything into it regardless of the situation. And the situation happened. And I tried everything for a full year. I lived with this person and I went through a whole lot. I'm not going to go into detail about the things that I was put through and the things that I allowed myself to go through. But they were things that changed me for life. And ultimately, the decision was that he was going to go be with his new family and the family he chose to create outside of the one that we had for 10 years prior. And that's fine. It hurt and I had to grow through it and I had to go through it and I made it through, and I am in a better situation for myself now than I ever was in that past 10-year relationship. And when I look back, there were tons of red flags, but what that taught me was I'm not going to fight for things that aren't worth fighting for anymore because I simply want them and I think I need them to survive. No, I don't. I need myself. I need me to be strong. I need me to be capable, and I am now. I have a stable job. I have my dog. I have my family. I have my home. I have things that I have to maintain for myself. And that's been very validating, and it's been the thing that gets me through. I very much need structure in my life, and sometimes knitting just doesn't fall into that. I have been really into reading lately, and I've been very into my plants, and I think that I've been very into plants because it's something that I can pour a lot of love into, and I have a lot of love. Something I desperately want is to share my love with people and things. Like I have a lot of love to give, and I have nowhere to put it. While I do have my friends and family, you know, they have their own relationships as well, so it can't be about me 24/7. My air is about to kick on. Sorry about that. I'll try to talk a little louder. I'm not going to make this very much longer, but they have their own lives. Like, my friends have their own marriages, their own relationships, their own children, and I don't. And sometimes I just have to be okay with sitting with the uncomfortable. My mom called me yesterday because my stepdad was at work and he had been at work all weekend. He works like that weird shift where it's like 4 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 4 days off, 12-hour shifts. And she was like, I'm feeling lonely. And I was like, you can't do that. You can't call me and you can't say those things. You have to be okay with being with yourself. And over the past 3 years, I have become okay with being with myself, but that doesn't mean I don't get lonely. I get lonely, and I think when I fall into the loneliness patterns, sometimes I just fall away from knitting. And not because I want to, but because knitting had become a love language for me. And even though I wasn't necessarily knitting for my partner, I was knitting because I felt that love from my partner and creating. He was so supportive. And that's the thing, I don't want to bash my old relationship because I do feel like there was a lot of love and support in that relationship. Be it wasn't all good all the time. We were very young and we were going through a lot of our development together. And there was a lot of red flags from him and there was a lot of red flags from me. I will 100% at the end of the day always scream from the mountaintops that I know the part that I played in our marriage failing. And I have stated that from the very beginning, from before I even accepted what happened. I have always played my part in the demise, really. But I feel like when I have a lot of support around me, I want to knit more, and when I don't, I want to do other things for myself, such as pour my love into my plants and distract myself with books. And I think that that's okay. I haven't lost my love for knitting. My passion will always be there. This is my passion, and I have said that from day one, the day I started knitting. The day I started crocheting, I said this is my passion in life, and it still is. But I think people can have multiple passions, and I think I'm one of those people that have been blessed with finding a second passion in life, which happens to be plants. And for me, a passion isn't something like a hobby that you just fall into and then you give up on because you find something new. No, I think I'll always keep plants. I think I'll always be knitting. And maybe Lunar Knits won't always be what it once was, but I have to be completely honest with you guys. Lunar Knits by Lori, the YouTube channel is probably going to be more saturated with plants at this time because I'm still trying to figure out the whole knitting thing. And I have to be honest with you as well. I am still making knitting content. I have 2 videos on the lineup that they're just gonna take time. They're knitting reviews, they're craft show like vlogs, and those are more long-term videos. And those are the ones that I like to make for knitting. Podcasts are harder for me because I tend to feel like I need to crank out products like that, and that's not who I am anymore. I used to be able to crank out products so much because I didn't know the love of knitting, or I didn't know the love of books and plants at that time, and all I had was knitting, and it was my identity because I had no other aspects of who I was, and now I know who I am a little bit better. I still don't fully know who I am. I still struggle on the daily. Sometimes I wake up and I'm just like completely and utterly anxious and depressed, and then other days I wake up and I'm just so ready to go with life, and I mow my lawn, do my dishes, do my laundry, walk my dog, and go out with a friend all on the same day. And that's insane for me. That's not who I ever was, but those days are beautiful. But the days, sometimes I just come home from work, I sit on my couch and I read for 6 hours before I go to bed. And in those times I'm not knitting, I'm not making, so I can't knock out a sweater super quickly, you know? But it's something I still love, and it's something I'm still planning on doing for a really long time. But it's not going to be like it once was, where every video was a knitting video. It's definitely going to be dispersed, and I know I've said this many times on this channel, I'm just going to post what I want. And that's something I'm really proud of. I'm really good at just posting the things that I want to post. And I think it just comes down to, this isn't my main job anymore. For 4 years, this was my main job, my main income. This is what's helped support me and my ex. But now it's just a hobby again. I have a full-time job that I go to every single day. Now that's a whole nother story. I am not happy at that job anymore, and I'm considering moving to a different company. But so my phone got the storage message, so I had to go and delete a video. And that's a good time to say that I have all these old video, vlog, diary things that I used to make when I was going through this really hard time. And I've been trying to delete them, and I haven't been able to get myself to do so. So I just deleted one of those, and it feels pretty good. But I don't know where I was. I don't know what I was saying. But ultimately, I just want to make this video to let you guys know that I am still planning on making knitting content, but it's going to be fewer and far between than it used to be. And I hope you guys stick around. If you don't, that's okay too. I do still want to make tutorials. I do still want to make yarn podcast or knitting podcast. I want to do all of the things. I love knitting. I love yarn. I'm always going to love those things, and it's always going to be a part of who I am. But now there's more to me. There's more substance to me than there used to be. I am more than just a wife to somebody. I am more than just a knitter. I am me. I am somebody that owns a home. I'm somebody that has a full-time job. I'm somebody that lives alone. I have my dog. I have plants. I like books. I have friends. I go out and I do things. And that's very weird for me to think about if I look at who I was several years ago, afraid to leave this relationship, staying in a toxic environment because I thought it was all I could be. And I know now that it's not, and I have come out of this situation bigger and stronger and more involved with myself than I ever thought I could be. I honestly thought I wouldn't survive when I left my marriage, and I think that's why I stayed for that full year and suffered. I suffered, and I never got closure in that relationship. We literally moved out on the day that our lease was up, and we never talked about the situation at large, you know? So I still have to go through all of those things, and I think not having closure has made it a little bit harder, but I have let go and I have moved on, and I'm trying to find happiness again. And in a lot of ways I have, in a lot of ways I'm still working on that. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I feel like I can tend to get hard on myself because this channel is literally called Lunar Knits by Lori, and I have other interests now, and I upload a lot of other videos which tend to do pretty well. My plant videos do really well, my Hoya videos do really well, and that's exciting. But I know I have a lot of knitting followers, and I don't want to make them feel like they're not welcome here. Sorry, I think I lost my progress keeper, so I'm gonna have to figure this out off camera because I think I got to the beginning of the round and I need to do a cable round. So let me go ahead and just wrap this up a little bit. Yes, so Lunar Knits by Lori is still Lunar Knits by Lori. I'm never gonna change the name because that's just, I came up with that name and that's who I am. You know, I have like a whole ass tattoo of a moon, and it's something I very much still connect with. But it's gonna be a little different here, and I appreciate everybody that's been around for a long time. I appreciate everybody that's hung out with me and gone through my journey with me, even though they didn't know they were going through a journey with me. Literally since pretty much the moment I started my YouTube channel, like really committed to it, I had started going through this process of pain. And it had always just been about the yarn and the knitting for me, and now it's so much more. Life is so much more than just those things. I am a whole ass person. You are a whole ass person, and I feel uncomfortable sometimes being in my space, and that's unfair for me and that's unfair for you. But just know that I am still knitting. I am still crocheting sometimes, but it's gonna be a little different from here on out, and I'm still going through my journey. I'm always going to be going through it. You're going to be going through yours, and now I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna get the heck off of here. But thank you so much for watching and staying around. If you have any comments to leave me, I don't care what you have to say, whether it's positive or negative or just about your story, leave them down below. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and subscribe to my channel for more random content. I will see you guys in the next video.